What's up, everybody? Let's get the volume adjusted here a little bit. Good evening. It's 4:58. We're a couple minutes early. Imagine that. Coming hot off the heels of the Simply Cyber live stream with Tyler Ramsby. It was a phenomenal live stream. If you missed that, go back and check it out on YouTube or wherever you watch your team replay videos. Phenomenal live stream. A lot of wisdom, life wisdom around the career. Let me know how audio sounds. If I'm coming out nice and clear. Audio's good, says Justin Gold. That's what I love to hear. I got Laura Flores. I see John Vitucci, Nia in chat, Cyber Vega. What is going on? Welcome. Pre-show banter. Yep, a little bit of pre-show banter while everybody joins class, while class gets ready. Tonight's beverage sponsor is some tangerine flavored positive mindset tea from Yogi Teas. And some water. What a stream, though, huh? If you checked out that live stream with Jerry and Tyler. Such an inspirational stream. Before we get started, I'll let you know that, about a year ago, right around now, so I joined ISC2 because I had no idea what was going on. I joined their associates thing on February 13th or something like that. So I'm coming on a year of getting into cybersecurity myself. And it was around 3 weeks after that I discovered, I thought I wanted to do blue team, which I think that's a killer path, SOC analyst. And I'd take any job that was fit certain parameters that was an analyst job. So I'm not dissing our blue teamers, right? Our deefers, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And I remember really clearly, I was looking on YouTube because I wanted to know, I was kind of scared of red teaming. I was scared of hacking. I was like, oh, that's probably a lot of coding. I'm new to cyber. I don't know a lot of coding stuff. And I bet hacking is all just sitting with a hoodie on, like I see in the movies. There's no way I'm good at that. I need to be an analyst. I'm really good at analyzing things. I can do that. Well, I'm stumbling around YouTube and I'm like, I need some content. I'm going to check out what this red team nonsense is all about, what this ethical hacking is. And the algorithm just so happened to show me Tyler's review of the OSCP, right? Which is the super overpriced offensive security certification that isn't really real world, but that is highly regarded by many befooled hiring staff. And he told me about, in this video, I was hip to TCM. And that really was my first exposure. And then shortly after that, I stumbled in the Simply Cyber crew, which kind of led me to Black Hills because he was doing hey, sponsored by Black Hills and all this, and mentioned a pay what you can course. I had never heard of any of those things yet. None of those things had crossed my path yet because I had been doing my research and I saw SANS courses, Security Plus courses for $1,000. Like somebody mentioned in chat, it was deleted, but they were glad that Tyler was offering free services instead of a $1,000 BS Security Plus course. And that's what I was seeing too. I was seeing really expensive certifications and everything. And like Justin says in chat, the OSCP can be a big door opener though. Let's get chat overlaid for a little bit while we jaw jack. I found TCM and then I found Jerry, and from that I found Black Hills, and the rest is history. I said, I want to embody what these guys do for our entry-level people, and that's what brought you here to Security Plus or Slay Security Plus. So if you are just joining us, welcome. My name is Jesse J, aka the Cosmic Cowboy or the Cyber Outlaw. I like to think of myself as a Robin Hood of the digital world, gathering and synthesizing, so processing the industry's top certification strategies, specifically the CompTIA Security Plus. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Because the CompTIA Security Plus is the go-to de facto certification really in our industry. Whether it's Security Plus, Pentest Plus, Cloud Plus, ISC2 squared, any of the pop the bubble, memorized concepts, really these certifications don't test your ability to work in the industry. They test your ability to memorize a set of concepts as prescribed by CompTIA or ISC2 or whoever. It tests your ability to memorize those concepts and then spit them back out when questioned about them in a scenario format. Case in point is going to be when you take your CompTIA Security Plus exam. CompTIA is going to throw scenarios at you. Given a scenario, which control would you implement? Given a scenario, what is most likely to be the outcome? These certifications don't necessarily test what they what you can do, but they do test what you can remember. And sadly, like Justin Gold said, they are door openers into the cybersecurity landscape, or they can at least be door openers or conversation starters for hiring managers. And I saw the struggle that I personally went through in getting Security Plus resources kind of all in one place and not paying a lot for others. After observing all these methods, I said, that's what we're going to do. I want to create something that carries forward, that pays forward, that's community driven, that's all about getting people ready for a entry-level certification so they can spend less time worrying about resources, where they're going to get the funding, and if it's quality resources, and they can spend more time studying, and then even better yet, with the retention strategies that we're going to teach you in Slay Security Plus, you're going to retain them much more efficiently, which is going to free you up to hang out with your family. It's going to free you up to go gaming or hang out with your partner or whatever that may be, right? It's going to free you up to do other things with your life. Because you can have all the certifications in the world, but if you haven't sat behind a keyboard and done a few things, right? You've done some work until you have gotten your feet wet. Man, this is theory. In theory, in 2024 will not get you hired, right? A Security Plus, we know in 2024, typically without any network connections, not TCP networking, but no professional, a lack of professional network connections, a Security Plus alone probably will not get you a tier 1 job. It just won't. What will? We don't know what the magic bullet is, right? But we do know that there are some factors that contribute into getting hired in the cybersecurity world at a job that you like. And one of those is building that healthy professional network. And the other one is getting hands-on experience. Well, how do you get hands-on experience if you can't get hired? How do you get hired if you can't get hands-on experience? Home labs. Home labs are a great place to get started. And you say, well, where can I find home labs? And where can I find mentorship? Well, I got a place that I think is a fantastic place to start. And that is going to be tonight's session sponsor and the Slay Security Plus sponsor, Simply Cyber. Make sure you check out Simply Cyber. Dr. Jerry Ozier and the Simply Cyber crew bring over 20 years of industry experience, backed by 16,000 plus students, and I'm sure more, as he has launched his Cyber 101 course, which takes you from zero to hero in that 101 capacity with hands-on labs. And then not only that, by going to Simply Cyber IO, participating in the daily cyber threat brief, you build a community, right? And in this community, you have people that you can reach out to, that you can talk to about the hiring landscape, that you can trade ideas with, okay? So check Simply Cyber out if you haven't before. They show up Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And that's the daily cyber threat brief, building community, letting you know about what's going on so that you want to upskill your current career path, build some community or mentorship. Make sure you check out simplycyber.io. Okay, that's some housekeeping. The GRC course is awesome. I'm going to catch up with chat while some of these slides load. A massive shout out to our teaching correspondent and fellow educator with Slay Security Plus, Tyler McDonald. We had a crazy day here at the Johnson House. I've got a 6-month-old and I've got a 2.5-year-old who is full of energy. My wife works at home in the daytime, so I get to do full-time dad and really dream and cast vision around Slay Security Plus. And then in the late afternoons, I build ranges in Haiku Forge. We had a rough day with the kids. I said, hey, Cyber Hamburglar, hey, Taylor, today's been a rough day. It's just been one of those days. Can I use your slide deck that you professionally built that looked legit? And he said, absolutely, dude. They're already in your inbox. Go for it. And so hats off to Taylor, just absolutely carrying the torch for the Slay Security Plus community. Everything that you're doing, teaching on Monday nights, it's a great way to plug in and continue to sharpen those skills. So I highly recommend you check that out. Kenneth Lowy, Haiku rules. Haiku does rule. I really found once I realized what they're trying to do with gamifying it and the GAP learning method and really understanding how it's meant to teach, really instill basic facts and concepts around cybersecurity, I actually cannot believe that it's a resource that I didn't find when I was really getting into the journey, because you learn a lot. Space Taco's coming in with a nice chat. How are you? How are the baby hackers? They're doing great. Hacker number 1, which is my 2.5-year-old, she sometimes watches the daily cyber threat brief with us. She loves computers and knows what I do for a living, and she loves it. And I love it. Got a family that supports, and really that's the only way to do it. So what does tonight look like? What is SLASIK Plus? We're going to go through domains 2.1 and 2.0 in the CompTIA domain objectives. We wrapped up domain 1, and I'm going to go back through that and potentially redo that in a long form video. But all that to say, we're moving right into domain 2, 2.1, 2.2. And so we're going to do a recap of this because I think it's really important with the way that 701 is written, that we're getting these concepts down. And it's a phenomenal slide deck, so let's rock through it. Anyone know a guy by the name of Jesse? What's going on, DJ BSEC? Well, welcome to SLASIK Security Plus. I was going to DM you early and ask if you wanted to jump on stream. If you want to jump on, if you're feeling feisty, you are welcome to join us. I loved having you last time, and I know the community loves having you. It was fun hanging out with that last night. I was working on this, and you were moderating for Neil Bridges, Cyber Insecurity. That was a great one. Always spitting fire and preaching the truth on that live stream on Twitch. So if you are not hip, in case you don't know, now you know, go check out Neil Bridges, Cyber Insecurity. You do learn a lot. It's spicy though. It's spicy. Okay, it's spicy. So be ready for it to be spicy. We're not pulling punches here. We're not holding back. So just be ready and go with an open mind. Let's get into it. What are the objectives in 2.1 and 2.2? We're going to compare and contrast common threat actors and motivations. What are threat actors? Plain and simple. And if this is your first time joining us, let's get after it. Threat actors are our hackers, right? They're our baddies. They're the ne'er-do-wells. They're the people on the other end, on their right side of boom, right? You have the left side, which is our analyzing and preparation and getting everything ready to protect and prevent and risk management. Everything on the left side of boom, and everything on the right side of boom is OS, oh crap, we got hacked. And so the people on the right side of boom, the ones that want to do bad to you, those are called threat actors here in the cybersecurity community. We call them threat actors. We like to call them hackers, and they have a couple other names, which we're going to get into. And then 2.2, we're going to explain common threat vectors and attack surfaces. Plain and simply, a threat vector is how do you get there, okay? And then an attack surface is what does that look like, right? What is this surface? How big is it? What are we protecting? Let's get right into it. All right, threat actor types. What I want you to do is if you have a text document open next and you're taking notes, you can always watch this on Team Replay. I want you to put words, okay? We're going to start using block method. We're going to start using chunking method learning, right? Okay, we're going to start using mnemonics. And we are going to apply this terminology to something that we can remember. When you want to learn a new concept, and if you're just getting here and you've never, maybe it's been a while since you've taken an exam, or maybe you have test jitters, memorizing technical things can be scary, daunting, and difficult, especially when you know they're looking for something specific on the exam. One way to retain it more efficiently is to give meaning to it in your brain. We need to take it from the short term. So you're watching SLASIK Security Plus. We need to take that knowledge from the short term, and we need to lock it into that long-term memory so that when it's time to take the exam, we're ready to go. And the way to do that is to assign it to something that you're going to remember that's going to take precedence, rent space, as they say, in your brain, right? So unskilled hackers, we can think of these. We used to call them script kiddies. Apparently CompTIA didn't want to be cool anymore. Maybe they thought they were appropriating that from much cooler people, or maybe they just wanted to be more professional. Unskilled hackers, we like to look at those. We used to call those script kiddies, right? They don't have a lot of skill. They're probably using something that's automated or pre-written. Maybe at this point it's ChatGPT and it's just a point and click. Malware as a service, ransomware as a service, things where you're just pointing and clicking. Your intent is going to be thrill seeking, and you're going to be looking to impress your friends, maybe make a political statement, but really you're not much of anything. You're the unskilled person. You're not impressing anybody. During Wild West Hacking Fest, this is funny. And if you're watching, if you were that person, man, I'm sorry, but it was pretty funny. I'm sitting there, first time, first con, like I've said before, almost to nauseam, life-changing con. You shot me a message, sweet. Cool. Let me get the studio. You got it. I'm sitting there and John Strand makes a special announcement and he says, basically there's somebody that's going around. We have these cool These were our badges for Wild West Hacking Fest. I don't know if you can see, but you lit up. You could walk around and scan different things. They're super cool. I'm sure you've seen around other people or if you were there. But there were some people and there was some Bluetooth activity that was going on that was just, it wasn't cool, man. It was hackers trying to prove that they could do certain things. And John Strand basically got up there and said, hey, if you think it's going to impress me or we're going to be in a conversation or something to the nature of, if you think it's going to impress me, it's not. It's just, you're just trying to show off. You're just trying to prove a point. I'm going to skip nation state and get back to them. Let's move into hacktivists. Hacktivists are typically going to be defacing websites. They're going to be doing something that has to do with supporting some kind of goal, whether you're far right, far left, there's a greater good, a philosophical belief, save the whales. If you go back to the 90s and early 2000s, you look at the PLO and just the different far left, really, really far left extremist organizations and some of the far right organizations. A lot of what they were doing we called hacktivism, right? You know it when you see it. Insider threat. These are employees or individuals with authorized access to cause damage to an organization. And here's the key, and I want you to write this next to it, because going back to that learning theory, we want to apply something to it to remember forever, right? We want it to come back. So unskilled hackers think script kiddies, or just think low skill. They want to show off, thrill seeking. Next to hacktivists, you might want to put a greater good, philosophical belief, defacement of websites. Insider threat. Here's the key to insider threat. This is probably an employee or a former employee, somebody with inside knowledge of the company, and the goings on, the security, the credentials. They have some kind of access. Now, here's the key with insider threat that it may get misconstrued, is that the damage they can cause can be unintentional. Carl! Right? Carl. My wife can do a phenomenal Carl. Or due to negligence, right? Exactly. And so the insider threat could be maliciously trying to steal secrets, exfil data, creds, whatever, or they could just be Carl and they could be creating bad Active Directory, accounts that are poorly secured. They could be sysadmins with bad policy, or all the different things that we think about that could just be an accident. It could be as simple as somebody leaving their password or taking pictures on LinkedIn or whatever, and they've got their credentials exposed. Those are considered insider threats as well, even though we don't always think of them like that. Insider threat. BSEC always bringing the heat. Organized crime, I like to think of these ones as the mobster groups of the internet world. They're in it for financial gain, ransomware, data exfil or exfiltration. That means taking something out. And so if you're just getting into cybersecurity, and maybe you're from accounting, or maybe you're just from something else that doesn't use some of this terminology, exfiltration means to take out, right? We've got data in my hard drive. I'm going to exfiltrate. I'm going to get in and I'm going to sneak it out. And then shadow IT. I'm going to call on our C-suites here. These are the people that we have our protocols as IT and IT security professionals that we try and adhere to. Hopefully that's to some kind of policy, some kind of framework, right? We got to connect the dots when we're studying for Security Plus. Well, how does shadow IT play into all of this? Well, if you're working on a framework, which we'll get into in Domain 5, if you're working on some kind of NIST framework or some other framework, then you should probably have a well-written and a documented way of doing things in your organization. Shadow IT is when it could be C-suite and it could just be the new person, but they bring in their own stuff, right? Without approval. Poor mobile device management. This could be your C-suite executive who brings their Apple computer with all the company secrets. They got their Mac. We're a PC to save money company, and they bring their Mac in and they just have poor password policy, and they're easily spearphished, or they're easily, somebody goes whaling and they get those credentials. That shadow IT can be our threat actor. And it can be unintentional. It can be intentional, because if you think about it, somebody could be planting or sabotaging equipment, right? And then the real baddies of the baddies are nation state or advanced persistent threats, APTs, Cozy Bear, right? I can't remember, Stormcloud or whatever the Microsoft names are. These are our big dogs of the cyber warfare game. These are our long-term, think advanced, persistent. The advanced part, I need to fix it. There should be a D there. The advanced part means they have a lot of money, they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of skill, and typically it's going to have a persistency to it, right? A persistent nature. They're going to be doing it for a long, long time. These are government agencies. These are our state-sponsored cyber warfare gangs, right? We're thinking North Korea. You're thinking potentially China. You're thinking just in that realm. Let's look at chat for a second. Typhoon equals China, says BSEC. We're gonna get BSEC on stream in here just a second. I'm super stoked to bring him on. Let's jaw jack for a minute. Christopher Whitlock, a fellow Simply Cyber. Oh, Justin Gold responding to Christopher Whitlock. Just Justin Gold, an IT security professional in his own right, a Simply Cyber moderator and the creator of the Slay Security Plus Discord channel. This is community-driven, folks. I'm telling you, this is how we do it. At Christopher Whitlock, one thing people just forget about or think they turned off, but still somehow, some way. I must be missing. Let's see. I don't know, but I see somebody mention the Amazon $20 gift card. You know, my last job, I saw one of our elderly teachers. She totally got fish for $400. Luckily, she didn't send the gift card codes, but she did go buy the gift cards. Makes me absolutely furious. One of the main reasons we're in this industry, right, is to protect others. Let's look at hackers' different hats. This is a great slide and a great illustration. And I'm going to expand on this a little bit more as we get into white hat, black hat, and gray hat. That terminology still is used in the greater large of the cybersecurity and the information security landscape, but we are seeing ISC2 and CompTIA and some of the other certification vendors moving away from anything that could be considered racially or gender biased. White hat, you know, what is that? That's a known environment, fully known environment. A black hat is an unknown environment, and then a gray hat hacker, you know, that's unknown, right? So, black box testing, white box testing, and gray box testing. Same thing applies to white hats, black hats, and gray hats. We look at our white hats, or we look at those as being ethical hackers, typically the good guys. And a lot of times they're going to be doing this legally with the permission of a company or on behalf of their boss who has permission of the company. Then we look at black hats. Those are known as the bad hackers, threat actors. These are black hats. Those are the bad ones, right? Acid burn. Whoever takes that name must have a thing for hackers. And then we have gray hats, or somewhere in between. They're kind of like the Robin Hoods of the hacker world, the Jesse James, if you will, robbing the poor maybe to help somebody else, or hacking something to potentially help something else. White hat, black hat came from Spy versus Spy. And let's see if my computer will let us do it. Spy versus Spy was out of Mad Magazine. I absolutely love Spy versus Spy. It was one of the main reasons I purchased Mad Magazine, rather than the musical articles. And if you don't know, now you know. I'm not responsible for anything in the Google search that comes up. So Kennedy, if you're watching, any other kids out there? Spy versus Spy. And a lot of times they would have similar weapons they'd use against each other. You see in this diagram here, he's got this one's got the bomb, but it's black, and he's got the white stick of dynamite. They'd always be hurting each other with almost the same tools. It's pretty funny. Loved Spy versus Spy. Justin Rohr says, oh, they were mad. I didn't know that. Yep. They were out of Mad Magazine. I think it probably was a standalone thing there for a while, but I remember it coming straight out of Mad Magazine. I could totally be wrong. And I'm also dating myself here. Take a quick break. Address chat for a minute. I hope everybody's doing well out there on this Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Man, it is kind of a cloudy Thursday out here in Western Colorado. We're going to move here briefly into 2.2 threat vectors and attack surfaces. I just want to remind everybody, as you're studying for your Security Plus certification, show up for the community, but don't just stop here. Professor Messer has every single video on his website that's absolutely free that walks you through domain 1 through domain 5. And this is great for that. Remember our retention strategy. We learn a little bit, then we test ourselves, we document those results. From those results, we do targeted research only on the issues, on the areas of weakness. We're not going to spend time working on things that we already know because that's a waste of resources, whereas we need to be focusing on our deficits, right? So we need to be thinking about these things. So I always encourage that if these concepts you're having a hard time with, that you go back and you go through either Professor Messer's or you catch up. But at any rate, that as you're testing yourself, that is this retention strategy, because it makes for a much more efficient learning style. Keeps your head in the game, man. Tree Hugger, hey Jesse, are your slides available? Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second. That brings me to a great point. When we may or may not get to questions because I want to bring BSEC on for a little bit, unless he's got to go. I need to look at the phone. I try to stay off the phone when I am on stream because that's rude. Tree Hugger says, are my slides available? Tree Hugger, here's the absolute truth of the matter. I am working on Slay Security Plus as a legit course. It's going to be a full-on sponsored legit course, Domain 1 through Domain 5. Pay what you can with labs, access to some other training material that I'm still working on other vendors with, but it's going to be the real deal. So yes, my slides will be in it, but they're going to be my slides time, like my slides from the planet, like my slides from space. They're going to be ready to rock and roll. They're going to take you through Security Plus with our industry tested synthesis of training materials. I don't want to call it a one-stop shop or a single pane of glass, because single pane of glass means single point of failure. I want you to remember that, security professionals. Single pane of glass is a single point of failure. So please don't use that when you're selling that to people. And so I don't want to call it a single point of failure, but really this is going to be the one-stop shop for your Security Plus needs. You're going to get live labs. Not only that, it's going to correspond with what we do on Monday and Thursday. So let's say it's going to be pay what you can. So if you got 0, then it's 0. And then we're going to have some tiering options that I'm still working out. One of those options is going to be a pay it forward option, to where if you buy that bundle, you actually get that bundle to give somebody else. We're going to be working on some sponsored vouchers to go along with the course purchases. So this is really, really exciting. This is really what I want to do for the industry. I'm inspired by guys like Jerry, like Tyler, like TCM, like Black Hills. And now that I've got Slay Security Plus, we've got the backing of Jerry, and we've got some sponsorship, not only from him, but then from Josh Mason and just some other sponsorship goals in the works. Decided that we're really going to take this seriously. So I got on a call with Josh Mason. I said, okay, let's double down. Got to call Josh Mason. I also spoke with Jerry. So I'm going to double down on the Slay Security Plus, and we're going to create a legit course that is going to be knock your socks off, and it's going to be a light, you buy it and you're going to get it for how long it takes you to pay to slay your Security Plus. Then when you're all done, we want you to pay it forward and give that course to somebody else at zero cost. That is moving forward. So if you're studying and you plan on taking it really, really soon, building a course like that does take time. It took Jerry well over a year to develop his course. I'm hoping to do it a little bit sooner because I don't quite have the depth of scope. I'm not doing an entire Cyber 101. I'm doing something that's very specific with specific guidelines, which is Security Plus. So that is coming. I'm really excited. I got full support from the family to kind of invest some funds, my own funds, into getting some of these resources. We're going to grab, I don't know if I'll do a CompTIA sponsorship. I want people to be able to watch me live stream the live labs and some of the PBQs. And I don't want to have to charge anybody money for that. The YouTube stuff will never be to make money. My career as a cybersecurity professional or an educator, penetration tester, consultant, that's going to support my family. I already know that. I'm not worried about it. So I don't care if the YouTube gets docked and I never see a penny from it. The point of the YouTube, the stream, and the Twitch is to provide this to everybody out there who's trying to gain this certification knowledge absolutely free. And here's the thing. Slay Security Plus doesn't just apply to Security Plus. What you're going to learn in these certification in this course is really that you can apply this to any of the pop-up bubble, memorize it and slay it courses. So you can take that to the bank. So are my slides available? All that to say, sure, you are welcome to take what we have here and do what you want with them. You can take screenshots and make your own, type your own up. Or when the time comes, if you haven't taken your exam yet, stay tight because we are in production for a Security Plus 701 course. And here's the other part that's going to be super fun. We're going to have guest lectures. Maybe somebody like DJ BSET can come in and he can help teach the part about IT security. I'm going to talk to people like Tyler and people from the TCM crew and say, hey, you want to come alongside me and potentially teach about the vulnerability part? So we'll be primarily taught by me, but we want to have this community driven. I want guest lecturers, and it's going to be Slay Security Plus. It's going to slay, right? Let's go. Sorry, Kennedy. Threat vectors. How do they get there? This means the malicious actor used what is the means, right? Threat vector and attack surface. Let's go over some basic terminology. Zero-day attacks often leveraged by APTs or advanced persistent threats. One thing when I'm studying for my Security Plus is I take it. Whenever you see an acronym, and whether you know it or not, just categorize it. Just sound it out. When you're reading it out loud, I'm telling you, these tiny little study tips make a huge difference later on. So when you're studying on your own and you're reading the side and you're going zero-day attacks, think what's a zero-day attack. Start thinking, and if you don't know, pause and go Google it. Like figure it out and then make a note somewhere what a zero-day attack is. Start creating this toolbox of terminology to have conversations with hiring managers and working professionals and go to conferences. I'm telling you what, it eliminates imposter syndrome because you're doing the research. You only have imposter syndrome when you don't know something. I've had imposter syndrome, right? So if you don't know what something is, go figure it out. And if you do, make mental notes. APTs, advanced persistent threats. Okay, there's one acronym I got. Well-funded hacking organizations. 0 days are vulnerabilities unknown to hackers or cybersecurity defenders. Defenders, yes, they're also sometimes unknown to the software developers themselves, which is one of the biggest issues, right? Attack surface. When we look at attack surface, it's a system, application, or service. We need to put some commas in there that contain the vulnerability. The vulnerability, we can look at that as a weakness. And what do hackers do? You exploit a weakness, right? If you love to shop at flowershops.com, the mom and pop flowershop.com, and you love to shop there, and I know your weakness is roses, I may exploit that weakness by sending you a phishing gift card that looks like it's from that company, right? I know that's your weakness and I can exploit that, take advantage of. Using this terminology. I'm feeling excited. I'm pumped from that live stream with Tyler and Jerry still. I think I'm gonna have some Italian blood because I do use my hands quite a bit. We're gonna look at some different threat vectors and some different methods that we see hackers and cyber baddies using. We see SMS or smishing. You can think of that as short message, instant messaging, potentially text messaging, short message service, SMS messages. Oh, your UPS package is running late. Please confirm your address, right? Stuff like that. We've seen it before. Voice calls or vishing. If you're making notes for yourself and you've got your CompTIA 701 Security Plus exam objectives, right next to vishing, put phone phishing or voice phishing. They smash those words together. They smishing, and together you get vishing. Email, that's our classic and probably the number one. Got a jet, Christopher Young says. Talk soon, Warriors. What's going on? Have a good night, Christopher Young. I'll see you in the morning. Warriors, come out and play. There's a deep cut. Unsecured networks, unsecured ports, unauthorized devices. This is pretty straightforward, and you would not believe how many organizations, large and small, Justin Golden Chat could tell you this, DJ BSET could tell you this, Jerry could tell you this, even our brand new cybersecurity professionals just getting in the industry can tell you this. Unsecured ports and unauthorized devices are one of the easiest ways to get in, to get that initial access, right? To get that initial foothold. Unsecured ports. What does that mean? Well, pause the video, or if that's something that's new to you and maybe you're just going to cybersecurity, unsecured port, what does he mean by that? Take a pause and Google unsecured ports, cybersecurity, or ask ChatGPT. Oh, unsecured ports. Oh, okay. They're communicating on port 80, not secure, blah, 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 1993, okay, 2000, HTTPS. Okay. In about 30 seconds, you would be surprised how much you can learn by just Googling one concept. And you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. Foundation, baby. Holistic cybersecurity. Understand all of it and then specify. Get that Sec Plus then specify. Don't spend forever in beginner land, because you'll be like a lot of folks who just wander the desert of beginner land. Find an area, get a general entry-level cert like Security Plus to get through the door, and then specify. Find something that really makes you tick. And it's a journey, so it might not happen overnight. Wireless networks, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, poor Wi-Fi router encryptions, using deprecated forms of encryption or deprecated security measures. Deprecated meaning something that it's not supported anymore. It doesn't work. It's been 86. It's been sunset. In the restaurant business, we say it's 86th. Whenever you see soup of the day on the menu, don't order it. That is chef speak for we've got to get rid of this product before the next truck gets in. Let's call it the soup of the day. Don't order the soup of the day. Shut it down. Unsecured ports mean you need to shut it down or use port security. 802.1x, baby. DJ BSEC bringing in the heat of the IT security, and that is absolutely correct. 802.1x is the framework on which we use so much of this, so it's good to understand. All about the WAP, baby. All about the WAP, baby. Bluetooth Wi-Fi. Unsecured Bluetooth devices, Wi-Fi devices, pretty straightforward when it comes to a direction or something that somebody could use to attack you. Image or file based. We talked about that earlier today. Was that which stream was that with the steganography? Remember? Maybe there's something hidden in an image. What is steganography? Pause it. Look it up. The art of hiding within hiding, basically. Hiding within plain sight. Removable devices, USB devices. Think about your flippers. Think about all the different hacker tools that can be implemented. And also think about them maybe not being maliciously used. That IT security sometimes means protecting ourselves from ourselves. So a lot of this, we're talking hackers, but this could also be like, just bad security all around. Vulnerable software that's not properly deployed. And we'll get into a lot of this, a lot more of this later, but software that's not properly deployed, that's not properly tested, that doesn't have some kind of continuous, deployment, and they're doing integrity checks, right? And they're doing these testing before they deploy it. Unsupported systems or applications, shadow IT, we get back to that, open service points, default or weak credentials. Do you know how many times in the IT sec world I see default credentials? Or really weak credentials. I cannot tell you how many times somebody would kindly tell me their password, and I look at them and say, your husband's name is Steven, and your son graduated from high school in 83. Oh, and you're excited because there's an exclamation point. They're like, how did you know that? Were you like looking when I typed that? It's like, no, it's just really, it's 2024 and it's obvious. Use stronger passwords or you get hacked, period. Or don't use passwords at all, use passphrases or passkeys. Find different ways, right? Upgrade. And if you don't know, now you know. Supply chain vulnerabilities. What are supply chain vulnerabilities? We think about the products that we get, right? A lot of times, the end product we get has many other third parties or other people involved that are giving you your product. I've got this Jim Dunlop. It is a fretboard polish for my guitars, and I got it from a local music shop, right? Well, in between that, the music shop had to get it delivered. So there's one third party. That's a supply chain, right? That's our supply chain. And that they had to get it from the main manufacturer. So there's another person in the chain. And then we chain all of these down, this chain of supply all the way down until me. At any link in that chain, so whoever is the weakest link in the supply chain can very well be the weakest link that leads to your organization completely getting thrashed and hacked, right? Getting pwned, as the kids used to say. And so supply chain vulnerabilities, those third parties, those people that are giving you the goods, there can be our weakest link. And lastly, but also maybe most importantly, the human element. The human element is typically going to be the weakest link. A lot of times we can only set our software and our parameters and our shiny firewalls and the tools that we have been given as humans. So I'm excited for Neuralink. I'm excited for something different. Just kidding, kind of quantum. We here are the weakest link. So until we fix our security awareness posture, until we fix the way that Congress and the way that cybersecurity is held, the way that we look at it in business, the way that it's in business models and it's poo-pooed and it's like the last thing that people budget for, until that changes, until the cybersecurity paradigm changes, humans are going to be the easiest link, right? Phishing. Number one, we kind of know that. Audio got crispy there. Let's go. Let's talk about social engineering. Yeah, that will never change. We'll always be the weakest link. We're so lame. I love organic, right? I'm the cosmic cowboy. I love outer space and craziness, but I could spend a week with just a backpack in the woods. I love being outside. But I kind of think it'd be cool to like become a cyborg of some kind. Just like drink a fluid for my proteins. Don't have to eat. Just help, hack, work, help, raise family, enjoy life. Social engineering techniques focus on the human side of information security. This is pretty straightforward. In 601 and in 501 and 401, these concepts were all new to us, but you don't have to hang out in the cybersecurity industry very long before you start hearing about things like social engineering. And we have a pretty good understanding what that is, right? I'm trying to trick you by various means, which we'll get into, but I'm trying to trick you because humans are the easiest target, right? They're the weakest link. I'm trying to target you. And how do I target you? Well, there's a whole bunch of different ways. Let's rewind. How do we get to the phishing, the spear phishing, and the whaling, and the vishing, and the smishing, the pretexting, and the impersonation, type of squatting, business email, compromise, tailgating, dumpster diving, shoulder surfing, waterhole, and impersonation? How do we get to those things? We get to those things because people need to know, what's the motivation? Why are you attacking somebody? If I'm going to attack a CEO or somebody at the front desk, maybe I do a little bit of OSINT. Maybe I do a little bit of open source intelligence and find out about their social media. Maybe I look and see, or let's talk about a house. Let's not look at computers. Let's look about a home. Let's look at physical security. Maybe I want to break into a house to steal credentials, jewelry, the goods. It's heavily secured. Alarms, cameras, a dog, 2 dogs that are vicious. Choose your breed. But I noticed something after doing some open source intelligence, maybe some Google dorking, some Google satellite, doing some drive-bys because I am able to rent a vehicle. I notice and wear a high-vis vest. If you wear a high-vis vest, you're in. But I noticed the UPS guy that the dog just doesn't bark. This person gets enough visitors that the dog doesn't bark when it's mail or UPS. Well, I'm going to get a UPS vest and I'm going to walk right up to the door, right? And then from there, maybe we have an initial foothold. The human vector, you learn about your targets. Right? Because I want to use things like, as this slide says, authority. I'm going to pretend to be your boss in this email, in this smishing message, in this vishing phone call. Hey, Eldritch Mulder, this is your boss over here in level 7. I left my password. Excuse me. I left my password somewhere. I need you to send that to me, or you're going to be fired. Right? We used authority and we used intimidation. We got these different factors. We have authority, intimidation, consensus, scarcity, familiarity, trust, and urgency. Let's talk about some of these. Give some real life examples. Hey, I'm your boss. Do this. Oh, well, sure. And it's not just one or the other. It can be all of them used in one. Sometimes it can be just one, or it can be a combination of them, right? Maybe it's somebody using intimidation. If you don't, this is going to happen to you. I could be using just intimidation, but if it's from somebody that you're pretends to be somebody you're familiar with, now you're using familiarity and intimidation, right? I'm somebody that you know about. This could be somebody in your close circle. This could be a phishing message pretending to be just somebody that you know of that could be an intimidating person, right? Urgency. Buy now. Hey, I need you to click this gift card. Hey, I'm running super late. I need you. I had a patient that I was going to meet up with to give them their last rites, their visitor card from their son. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I have to get to an emergency case. I need you, please, to go buy 2 gift cards for $400 each. And pretty please, I need you to send me those codes so that I can email so-and-so before they pass away. To some people that are not in the cyber world, you start reading, especially if you're in a hurry. If you're in a hurry and you're not checking and you get an email that says it's from maybe in the medical field or something that triggers you, it's very easy to get duped into doing something that you never thought you would. That's what these people are good at doing. That is their job. The same way that it's our job to learn how to defend, penetration test, consult, and secure our networks, it's these guys' jobs, and they don't sleep. It's their job to research and do bad things to you and your digital privacy. Phishing solicits information via email. Spear phishing solicits information via highly targeted email designed for one person or one group. So when you think of spear phishing, think of I'm a baddie and I want to get just either at one person or I want to get at maybe just a group of people, right? I want to get at just the flowerpot.com people. We got whaling. Look at whaling, put equals, put a big, fat, juicy, blubbery $sign, and maybe even a little Mac computer because they probably have their Mac with them. No, I'm kidding. But targets high-value individuals such as senior executives that maybe aren't adhering to the policy. I don't want to say that all senior executives are going around doing this because they're not. But there are some that do, or people that just aren't abiding by our policies. So whaling is going to target that C-suite, those high levels. It doesn't have to be the CEO. Remember, this can be in context. Who is the highest ranking, maybe person with power that this could be targeting? But typically it's going to be your senior executives. Vishing, this is going to be like we talked about, a voice phishing. Vishing. Pretexting, this is going to be you are using the fake scenario. So you can put in a pretexting box, put equals, uses the story. This is where I'm getting you. This is my little spiel to get the information, right? This is my spiel. Brand impersonation. I say that I'm representing Black Hills Information Security. And because you trust Black Hills Information Security, you're going to give me information somehow that I can use, whether that may be malicious or just to send you advertisements. Typo squatting. You could look at typo squatting and put Google versus Goggle. How many times have you accidentally typed in Goggle and gone somewhere else? That's where these threat actors will register a DNS entry, right? They take that, a domain name service, and they take this fully qualified domain that is really close to something else, maybe a popularly known website, or maybe they've done some research on you and they know your habits. So they're going to somehow fish you into going to a website that is really close to the one that you go to, and you hit the I instead of, there's a typo, Goggle instead of Google, and it goes to what may be a valid looking web page, but on that web page is malicious files, activities, right? Typo squatting. Business email compromise, one of our classic faves from our threat actor community. They like to impersonate company executive or other people. Really a business email compromise. When you have this business email, somebody gets impersonated and then people respond to it and there's a compromise of confidentiality. Try and take everything back to the CIA triad. If you're just getting here, go back and maybe pause on where I'm talking about this root method of learning, right? We're going to spread out our knowledge. Business email compromise. Start thinking about those insider threats potentially, but this is maybe not. Business email. Think about your boss's email address, right? CEO@ceo.com. CEO gets his email compromised. Well, because he brought his Mac computer with a poor password of 1994 ! Fish rules or something, like something silly. They get their email compromised and then there's a breach of confidentiality. Maybe now they can interpret some of that data or exfil it or change it. Now you've messed with the integrity of the data. Now let's say he takes that email or compromises, because of the email compromise, they compromise the computer and they're able to withhold those email files that could have been very important. Now we're looking at attack on the availability of the data. With everything as we study, bring it back to the CIA triad and put it into perspective. Are we talking the business? Are we talking the person? Are we talking the software, the service, the people, policies, hardware? Was this the crypto scam? Oh, you're talking to me? I don't remember which one. If you're talking, most corporations buy domains, close theirs. DJ B-Sec spit in the truth. Most corporations will buy domains, close theirs, and have service that pull domains that look like theirs to warn customers. What's going on? I like that. Josh Mason gracing us with his presence in chat. What is going on, brother? We're talking about social engineering and the root method of retaining our knowledge, spanning out when we have a concept and kind of taking a minute, pausing, and start thinking about the surrounding ripples of that concept to fight against typo squatting. My life is a fight against typo squatting. Just kidding. Tailgating. We can look at tailgating. typically in physical security, I'm going to hover really close to somebody as they go into an authorized or confidential area. I hover close and then I get in right behind them. Shoulder surfing, classic internet cafe, 1997. You're typing in your AOL password and somebody's just looking over your shoulder. No, but this can be people with high-powered scopes. They could be glassing your company, trying to look in through the windows to get information. That's another way of shoulder surfing. It's not just up close. Shoulder surfing can always be from a distance too. Watering hole puts malware on a site where users frequently visit. Impersonation. I want to pause on watering hole. Is it here? I don't see it here. Watering hole, and I want to pause on DNS attacks or DNS redirection attacks. Those are called redirection attacks. So when you put a little thing that says redirection, because CompTIA sometimes will use the word redirection, and the options will be like watering hole attack or DNS, DNS spoofing. Understand that those are two versions of two different redirection attacks. I've seen CompTIA use that. And we thank Taylor McDonald for Cyber Hamburglar for his help in getting these slides put together for Monday's session and then sending them to me. I look forward to going even further. I wanted to pause in the vulnerabilities and kind of the threat actors because we're going to have a special session coming up, Slay Security Plus Hacked. More on that in the next week or so, but we're going to have a special Red Teamer take over Slay Security Plus, and we're going to have a Slay Security Plus Hacked Edition, which I'm also really excited for. Let's get BSEC on here. Bear with me, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Talk amongst yourself. And then also, in the meantime, go check out Taylor McDonald. You can find him at linkedin.com/in/Taylor-McDonald.
There we go.
What's going on, BSEC?
So this is like the perfect topic because I have a story for almost every single one of those social engineering that you just threw out.
Lay it on us. Before we get into it, I want to thank the next part of our stream sponsor, Josh Mason at Mason SE, Strength and Courageous. Whether you're looking for an IT strategic partner, somebody to help better your business, somebody to help better your cybersecurity posture, whether that's vCISO services, or you have somebody that's trying to study for their CISSP certification, make sure you go check out Josh Mason. He constantly is providing different initiatives that add value to not only the IT SEC community, mental health community, and just a lot of different other avenues besides cybersecurity. So make sure you check out Mason SC. Josh, we thank you so much for your support. BSEC laid on us.
We got to give Josh a shout out. The whole Ric Flair, right?
Let's go.
All right. So we had we were talking about social engineering. So you talked about the gift cards. And I saw somebody in chat said, oh, this only happens to the elderly. This does not only happen to the elderly. This actually happens to corporations.
Tell me some young gun was just like click.
No, this is even better. So this was, I think this was about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. But we actually had a person within the company get a message, that inevitable message of, hey, and it's from, it's actually from the CEO. Hey, I need you to go get me 10 gift cards from Home Depot. I need them ASAP. I need you to scratch them all off and send them over. And lo and behold, he did it. Never has a CEO or a president ever sent somebody a message, especially somebody like within the company in a lower management level or you're not going to get a CEO or president to send a message to them and go, hey, go get me this. It's just not going to happen.
It doesn't.
I could understand it if it's their, let's see, if it's their like their secretary or their personal assistant and they're the ones that got that and they go do it. That's a different scenario. But if it's just somebody random in the company that's got a message from the CEO or the president or the CFO, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, folks. Use that pretty brain of yours for just stop, pause. Dude, just think about your life. Has the CEO of any company you've ever worked for typically asked you to do something like that? Probably not. So why? Because it's familiar, right? It's somebody we know.
I see Justin Rohr saying, I want to reward my team with cards. So that would be even more on the extreme of somebody sending a message of that type would be somebody in like a middle management, maybe an upper management that doesn't have the ability to already spend money. Because if somebody were to send me a message and say, I want to get cards to reward my team, I would say, well, then go get them. If you have the ability to, there are people within the company, once you get to a certain level, that have the ability to spend money, that have signing authority. If you don't have that authority, more than likely, you're not going to be asking for cards for your team. It's just not there. Sorry. It's just not something that happens.
Tell me you've got a default credential story, a good one.
So I don't have a good default credential story. I do have a good vishing story. Those are stories that don't actually happen often. So I do have a story that I've heard of a user that basically got a call from an individual that into a company. They got a call into a company, and this individual got on the phone with someone and basically stated that they were from a bank that they worked with. And the person, of course, at that point, it was middle of the day. They're working, they're moving left and right. They deal with these people all the time. Didn't even cross their mind to question the caller. So the caller basically is like, hey, we've sent messages and this and that, and we need you to basically reply and let us know. And the person's like, okay, I'll reply back. And they said, oh, wait a second. You can't reply back to the email. It's been too long. We need you to do it verbally over the phone. So there's key number one.
This is some Mitnick stuff right here.
Yeah. So listen to the scheme of how this works, right? I need you to do this over the phone. Now, what do we all know happens if you call into a bank or if you call into a cell company, you call AT&T or Verizon or somebody, you call in and you say, I'm DJ BSEC. Here's my number. Here's my account. And what do they say? What's the passcode to get in? They want a verbal passcode to get in, right? There's a PIN or something. This person on the other end, the threat actor, turns the table and says, hey, we sent that message. We need to reply, but it's got to be verbal now. I need you to verify who you are. I need you to verify who you are. So give me your verbal code. And the person on the victim gave the personal code to that person. So now what happens? They've got a personal code. They look at the guy sitting next to him. That guy sitting next to him calls the bank, right? Calls the bank. Hey, I'm person X. Here's my verbal code. I forgot what my username and password is. Because they had the verbal code, they've authenticated who they are and verified who they are. Now they've given them a password and they've given them the username and they've reset the password. The user, not the user, but the threat actor then logs in. The user did have MFA on, so the threat actor got stopped. But MFA isn't on a phone. MFA is sent to a message. It's sent to an email. So then what does the person on the phone say? Hey, I just sent you an email with a code. I need you to verify what that code is.
Okay.
Gives them the code. Now they've got access to the whole thing.
Now we have, because both of those things have been fulfilled.
Yep. And you see how the mind game is right there, right? I'm calling in. There's some urgency. I know, like you said earlier, they already knew a little bit about the person. They already knew a little about the company. They knew about what banks they were working with. So they had a little bit of information, just that tiny bit of information. They were able to get a verbal account or verbal password out of them and then swoop over. And I think it took like under 30 minutes. It's crazy.
And then it's literally like that. You go from just having a good day and then you're to the right of boom. And you're going, oh, what next? And the amount of panic.
And they didn't even know. They had no clue. They had no clue until an audit happened. And once the audit happened, a couple of days later, they were like, oh, wait, what's going on here?
Right.
And boom, there it is.
And a lot of people don't say anything. I have a case in point example at the education company I used to work for. I had shut down one of the scareware things, right? Somebody goes looking for a file they probably shouldn't, something free, and instead get the computer locks up. Microsoft Defender, do not turn off your computer. Call 1-800, blah, blah,
right.
You know what I'm saying? You call it. They say it's IT support. Microsoft, you know it's not. And so I had taken care of that. I was telling one of the HR people, and she said, last year before you came on, I was in my office working, and one of our admins starts running down the hall. And she's like, I gotta go to the bank. 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 Hold up. Like, why you gotta go to the bank in the middle of the day? Like, this is just abnormal behavior for this. Well, something happened on my computer and somebody's asking, I need to verify some information. Some like a large amount of money got put in the bank that's not supposed to be there. And I need to go take it back out and give it to them or something like that. Okay. My boss is like, well, like, or not a boss, but HR lady is like, well, well, hold on a second. Talk to me a little about this. Like, what do you mean on your computer? Like on your home computer? No, on my work computer. Oh, okay. Well, talk to me a little before you go to the bank. Let's talk about this. What do you mean work computer? Like how'd they get your bank information? She finally gets the story and they say, well, I was doing banking at work when I wasn't supposed to. And they got my bank account information. And she goes, well, how did you go from doing your bank account information to them having like your credentials? Like, how did this happen? Right. And I said, well, 2 days ago, I called Microsoft support and they've been walking me through these hackers that are on my computer.
Oh my God. At work. And she hasn't said anything.
For the last 2 days, 2 or 3 days, she's been walking us. The IT support has been trying to get these hackers that have just stayed on my computer from Texas or something. Oh. And she says, stop, don't go to the bank. Like, just go to your office, give me your computer, call the bank, just put everything, freeze, stop everything, give us the computer. We call I'm going to go and say it because I'm not employed. They called the worthless MSP at the time. And the MSP says, like, because they turned it on, they called them and they said, hey, is this actively on your network? And she goes, yeah, we're Ethernet. Like, we're on the network. He's like, pop the cable, shut the computer down right now and bring it to us. Like, bring
Right.
us to, we can clean it up. Yeah, sure enough, man, she got full on.
She had any
Luckily,
desk on
I
there.
don't think it wasn't even the savings or anything like that, but it was a big deal. It was a big, huge no-no. Big wake-up call.
Yeah, and that's why all of a sudden you were there.
That
And-
is exactly it. And I created
That- I mean-
documentation and I put it in a public place for everybody with lots of current and old school examples of what it looks like and the tactics used. That was the best thing I could do, is just give them awareness, because it happens.
Well,
even though, yeah.
And even with the awareness training, I saw somebody put in here, it's awareness training. You can give awareness training until you're blue in the face.
Gotta be
It doesn't
top-down.
matter. It doesn't
Gotta
matter.
be top now.
It-
It's gotta be part of the culture.
So there's two ways that I've seen it with awareness training. You can give awareness training and you've got a carrot and a stick. So you can give awareness training and give, a gift card or whatever to the first 5 people that do the awareness training and make 100 on it. Or you can do it and set it for 2 weeks. And then when the 2 weeks go by and nobody's there, you walk around with a stick and start beating people. I mean, both ways, neither way works. Honestly, it doesn't work. And with awareness training, what I've come across is a lot of it has to do with, like you said, top down. You got to have buy-in top down. There's got to be, you almost have to have buy-in top down with consequences, and the consequences have to be pushed from top down. You may have to start off with consequences to make sure people look at it. Otherwise, what's going to end up, and what people need to understand is that one person in a company getting compromised affects everybody in the company. It's not that one person that's affected. Now you've affected, in whether it's straight cash out of somebody's pocket, out of the bank, or not, it's still monetary hit, because you're taken away from doing work. You're taken away from the IT or the security team doing work. You're taken away from you being able to do work. You've got somebody else now that's got to do double work. I mean,
Preach. You're taking bacon off my
Yeah,
table. At the
yeah.
end of the day, you're taking bacon off somebody's table, and I
Yeah.
don't like going hungry because of some nitwit.
well, last time I was on here, we went through the whole any run stuff, and that was
Yeah.
actually something that had happened. They had
Yeah.
there was a direct phishing message that happened, and that link that they went out to right there stole username, password, and token credentials, and gave them a login. So
It's still in 2024. We watched the daily cyber threat brief, but it's still too easy. And now hackers are going, wait a minute, let's start focusing on small businesses and Soho routers and the legacy equipment's finally being exposed the way it should be. And we're going to see another influx of attacks. And budget, I'm telling you, anybody that's looking for a job, just give the industry time to breathe and catch up to where we're at. There's going to be jobs. We're just adjusting the landscape. Like, it's changing all the time, and I'm telling you, cybersecurity is not going anywhere. Threat actors all of a sudden aren't going to stop hacking because there's not very many jobs available, right? It's just we've got to pivot. We've got to find, well, what are they attacking now? What are attack vectors into the industry?
well, the new vector that I foresee that's going to be hot, right, is going to be
It's so hot.
AI. Yeah, it's going to be AI phishing. You're going to have those emails that are going to be created directly from AI with no longer, you're not going to have bad misspellings. They're going to go out, they're going to use credential dumps. They're going to use LinkedIn. They're going to go say, oh, here's company X that's on LinkedIn. Let me go look it up. Oh, hey, they have 50,000 users. Okay, well, who's all on here? Because not everybody on LinkedIn still thinks it's a social media, so they leave it all open. They don't actually privatize their social media and put it down and then connect with people that they know. They just leave it open so people can go scrape that. I mean, I think by the end of this year, we're going to see a lot of AI phishing messages, and they're going to get good.
Well, they're going to get good, and it's only a matter of time before they get if they're already not, they're going to be highly automated in a sense that we can get out these really good phishing emails we're casting even bigger nets now with more. We're going to have more automation and more AI behind the power of those emails.
Yeah.
Our jobs are going to change, but they're not going anywhere.
No, not at all. I mean, everybody keeps saying AI is going to take it over. You got to have somebody to run the AI.
Yep. What was his name yesterday on Neil's? Was that Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy was on there. Great guy.
That was a great stream last night, and just talk about the industry and the landscape. Go check that out on Twitch, Cyber Insecurity. That was a really good stream last night. But it's a cruel world, dude. It's a cruel world out there when it comes to our internet landscapes. We got to take care of each other. Like you said, awareness only goes so far. I've only been in the industry not that long, and I've already seen. I can tell people. I can lead these people to as kindly and not dumb down anything and just be. But people don't until they want to take it seriously, because we don't want to give up conveniences. I don't want to have to log in twice.
Right.
I don't want to be locked out on my computer. I don't want to have to insert this stupid UV key before I start my day. I just want to go to my LinkedIn and it's pre-logged in for me.
Well, the one of the guys I work with, we talk about it, and what we say is when it comes to education of this, you're leading a horse to water, and you're trying to get it to drink. But we're at the point to where we're taking the head and we're shoving it in the water, trying to make it drink, and we're ending up we're gonna drown them because they're not drinking the water. They're not taking the education seriously.
Well, and then you get to the point where it's like, and I hate to make this analogy, but when I was a kid, we used to have a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses or just hardcore religion, like really high. I'm not talking your average Sunday morning Bible believing Christian. I'm just saying like weekly, visits.
Right.
I think of that like that mentality a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. I have a feeling it's going to be really interesting when it comes to, because everybody last year AI hit the landscape, and everybody kind of learned how to use it. And then at the end of the year, you saw, and you're seeing. I mean, we already saw a couple of days ago where somebody credentials were leaked through ChatGPT, but you're going to see people actually using that tool or other tools like it to create amazing emails that come through, and people won't be able. If you can send an email now that you 100% know has nothing to do with your company, and you have a company of 100 people and you can get 10, I can guarantee you I can write an AI message that's going to get 50.
Right.
And it only takes one. It takes one.
That's the sad part. That's the hard part. Is it only takes the one weakness, the one vulnerability. Can't patch everything, but we can do our best. Again, risk management, getting those quantified risk.
Well, I've
management solutions taken care about in the morning.
I was going to say, I've had C-suites ask me, well, why are they sending out so many messages? And I said, well, if you stand in a boat and you throw a net out, all you're trying to do is catch a fish. So go send 100 out. All I need is one fish to eat. So I'm going to throw this massive net.
We were getting a bunch of phishing emails, and they said, well, just block the one called the MSP. He's like, yeah, can you just go in and block that email address? I'm like, dude, I can, and there's already rules in our awesome Barracuda firewall. But I think that blocking the one email address isn't going to stop the 50 that were just spread from all these different random accounts. I don't think you understand. Can you jump on and check out what's going on that I've been? You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, let's put it together.
That's stupid. I mean, something like that. That's where, like, education in the sense of educating users has nothing to do with that. Like, you want your users to say, hey, I got a phishing message. You want them to report it. You want to get it, because what you want to see is what is actually making it through. So yeah, I mean, who gives a damn about the email? The email address is to me is the least of it. It's the easiest thing for a user to determine that it's a bad message. But for me, what's in the body? What's in the subject? Or pull the header. Where's it actually coming from?
Those headers.
Yeah,
yep, absolutely. Yep. There's so much more to it, and so luckily I was able to propose. Not necessarily. I hate saying policy, but I was able to propose, get to the board, and let them know where they're at with their cyber. One of the last things I did was wrote a kind letter to everybody and the supervisors and said, hey, these are some recommendations, and it sounds like at the very least they are going to partner up with a more secure MSP.
Well, is it an MSP or is it MSSP?
It's an
If it's just
MSP, but this specific MSP, I know the people that work there, and they are very security focused, and they know from my experience with them, they've had conversations that said, yes, no, this is not at all how we operate. We're actually, completely different. But
that's where a lot of people get mixed up. It's an MSP. Well, what are they focused? They're focused on the IT side, but are they focused on security IT side, or are they just focused on making sure that the user's computers work?
Well, and then you got to remember, it's coming from the top down. And so when the legislation or the policy says we got to get more educators, cybersecurity is they're not worried about what the cyber guy can afford the cybersecurity firewall, right? They're not worried about our policy or our frameworks. They're worried about getting butts in seats. They're worried about getting educators and admin staff and shiny new computers. But the cybersecurity is still a footnote. And until that changes, we're going to have daily cyber threat briefs until we're all old, long in the tooth and gray in the beard.
Chris Whitlock, he's saying if you don't have the backing of the management, then your hands are tied. So I'd agree, but I'd also disagree. And the disagreement behind that is your hands are tied in the sense of you're not going to get funding, but what you have to do as the blue teamer, the threat hunter, whatever it is that you're doing, you've got to figure out a way to put something together to prove your point to them. You got to say, hey, here's why I'm bringing this forward. We sent out phishing messages and we've got 25% of the company has gotten hit. We did 6 messages this month, and out of the 6 messages that we sent out, we sent them to 100 people, so there were 600 messages, and we actually got like 75 hits. That's where I would turn around and go, look, that's how you can get a manager or your board on with you, saying, hey, look, yeah, there you go, I'm the captain now.
Look at me. Sure, I'm the captain now.
That's right, I'm the captain now. But that's how I would look at it, in the sense of I'm going to bring what I can. I'm going to run reports. I'm going to find ways to prove to them what my reasoning behind bringing this forward is. So I've heard from a couple of people who just seem to not have, and that's true too. And that I agree 100% with that. There are companies, usually that's going to be a small business or a medium business, and you know what's going to end up happening with that is they're going to get popped, and then they're going to get funds. That's what's going to happen. They want the bare minimum for the contract, and whether or not it is an MSP or MSSP that they're working with, or they actually have somebody in-house, as soon as it gets popped, then all of a sudden, guess what? The wallet opens up.
I came in for the tail end, but I know where you're going, and you're absolutely right. Like when the ball drops, the wallet pops, baby. Like that's exactly how it works. Mithril Beta. Hello, I am not an ISEC expert, but here my husband is lurking ! And he wants to listen, but he cooks usually at the time. So I baby his relay and listens, communicates. Hi y'all. Welcome to Slay Security Plus. We hope that you're enjoying yourself. Try and gather Security Plus resources from the industry's best, synthesize them and bring them to you in one place. DJ BSEC, it's been real and it's been fun. I got a daughter that is saying it's Mario Party time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's Switch time.
Thursday nights, we go from Slay Security Plus, and she gets all pumped up, and then we play a rousing round of
it's party time.
Yeah, dude, it's party time.
Mine's the same way. We play Mario Kart.
Oh, I love both of those two games. Are like our go-to. Oh my gosh, I'll just about throw those little controllers. I'm like my 3-year-old. What do you know? What did you put a banana there for?
Oh.
Hey guys, thank you, and gals, dogs, cats, ladies, children, cyber warriors, slayers from all over the globe. I hope that you found value in tonight's session. I want to thank our show sponsors, Simply Cyber and Josh Mason SC, and a very special thanks to you, DJ BSEC, our DJ BSEC takes over Slay Security Plus. We love having these. DJ BSEC, we love having you. Let us know, where can we find you?
You can find me in the morning on the Daily Cyber Brief for sure. And we'll see about what we may be working on something. Jerry and I may be working on something later, and we'll see how that plays out. But this was a great session, because this is a session, if you didn't see the beginning of it, go back and watch the beginning of it, because this session is a big one to watch, especially when it comes around social engineering, because it is the number one thing when it comes to cybersecurity.
You heard it from a professional himself, working in the industry for a long time, IT security, IT sysadmin, lifelong learner, and just been in the industry for a long time. DJ BSEC, thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful night.
See you guys.
For all of you out there, I'm Jesse J. You are Slay, and until Monday with Taylor, and next Thursday, I'll see you on LinkedIn. I'll see you Monday through Friday in the morning. Stay safe, stay secure, and we'll see you on the flip side.